The room was buzzing with anticipation. Fans packed into the hall, waiting for another warm and witty exchange between Outlander's beloved duo, Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe. Over the years, audiences had become accustomed to their playful banter, their inside jokes, and the magnetic chemistry that seemed to blur the line between fiction and reality. But on this particular evening, something unexpected happened, something that left Caitriona silent, the crowd holding its breath, and the internet ablaze. It started innocently enough. The host leaned in with a mischievous grin and asked the question that actors dread but fans secretly crave. "So, Sam, who is your dream girl?" Normally, Sam would laugh it off, deflect with humor, or cleverly redirect the question to his latest project. But this time was different. His smile faded into something more contemplative, his gaze lowering for a moment before he met the eyes of the audience. The silence stretched just long enough to make everyone lean forward. Caitriona, seated beside him, raised an eyebrow, clearly expecting a witty comeback. Instead, Sam took a breath and began to speak in a voice that carried both hesitation and conviction. "You know," he said, "I've been asked this so many times. People always expect me to name a celebrity crush, some glamorous actress or someone unattainable. But for me, my dream girl has never been about fame or appearances. She's someone who understands me, who makes me laugh when I'm exhausted, who knows how to challenge me but also lift me up. She's strong, independent, kind, and—" He paused, and the pause was electric. His words weren't rehearsed, they tumbled out like truth he had carried for too long. The crowd was utterly still, hanging on each syllable. Caitriona's expression shifted, her lips parted as if she were about to speak, then stopped. Her eyes softened but also betrayed a flicker of surprise, perhaps even shock. Sam continued, his voice deepening with emotion. "I think the real dream girl is someone who's been beside you all along. Someone who knows the real you, not the actor, not the character, not the public figure, but the person behind all of that. And maybe the reason I've never given a straight answer before is because—" The tension in the air was unbearable. Some fans gasped. Others clutched their phones, already recording every second. Sam's hand tightened around the microphone as though he was weighing the power of his words. Finally, he looked sideways at Caitriona, just for an instant, before finishing. "Because she's right here." The room erupted. Gasps, cheers, even a few screams echoed through the hall. Some fans jumped to their feet, others covered their mouths in disbelief. Caitriona froze, her cheeks flushing crimson, her hand instinctively reaching to brush her hair back as if to mask the whirlwind of emotions on her face. She was speechless, completely caught off guard. The host, wide-eyed, tried to regain control of the interview, but the moment had already escaped into legend. Cameras flashed, fans whispered furiously, and Caitriona, usually so quick with a quip, sat in stunned silence. Her lips curled into a nervous smile, but her eyes told another story. A mixture of shock, warmth, and something unspoken that neither she nor Sam seemed ready to articulate aloud. For years, fans of Outlander had speculated about the connection between its two stars. Their chemistry on screen was undeniable, and their bond off-screen had been described as beyond love by Caitriona herself. They always insisted they were just friends, best friends, partners in work, confidants. But Sam's confession was different. It was raw, unscripted, and impossible to ignore. The room pulsed with an energy that couldn't be contained. Social media exploded almost instantly as clips of Sam's words circulated within minutes. Tweets poured in. Did Sam just admit Kate is his dream girl? And, this changes everything. The fandom was ablaze, dissecting every glance, every smile, every subtle gesture from that evening. And yet, in that moment, none of that mattered. What mattered was the silence between them, the silence that said more than words ever could. Caitriona's hand eventually found its way to Sam's arm, a small but telling gesture, as though grounding both of them in the middle of a storm they hadn't planned for. Part 1 of this story ended not with a conclusion, but with a question, a cliffhanger. Had Sam really just confessed his feelings to Caitriona in front of the world? Or was it a carefully worded tribute that fans simply chose to interpret romantically? Either way, the damage, or perhaps the magic, was done. Caitriona was left speechless, Sam was left vulnerable, and the world was left desperate to know what happened next. For a long moment, Caitriona Balfe didn't say a word. Her silence was deafening, yet it spoke volumes. The audience, still buzzing from Sam's electrifying confession, waited with bated breath for her response. Cameras captured every flicker of expression on her face, the widening of her eyes, the nervous laugh she tried to suppress, the delicate way she shifted in her chair as if to steady herself. Finally, Caitriona exhaled softly and glanced at Sam, her lips curving into a smile that was equal parts warmth and disbelief. "Well," she began, her Irish lilt breaking the tension, "you certainly know how to stun a room, don't you?" The crowd erupted in laughter, but beneath the humor lay an undeniable truth: she had been touched. Deeply. Caitriona's words were light-hearted, but her eyes betrayed something more profound. For over a decade, she and Sam had walked side by side through the whirlwind of Outlander. Together, they had filmed countless scenes of passion, heartbreak, and devotion. They had traveled across continents, shared red carpets, endured grueling schedules, and leaned on each other through the highs and lows of fame. Their relationship had been a source of fascination for fans, who often blurred the line between fiction and reality. But until this moment, neither had openly acknowledged the possibility that their bond could be something beyond friendship. The host, sensing an opportunity, leaned forward. "Caitriona, what do you think of Sam's dream girl description? Does it sound familiar?" The audience roared with anticipation, the atmosphere crackling like a live wire. Caitriona hesitated, biting her lip as though carefully weighing her response. She could have laughed it off entirely, brushed it aside as nothing more than Sam being poetic. But instead, she chose honesty cloaked in grace. "I think," she said slowly, "that Sam has a very beautiful way of describing the kind of person we'd all be lucky to have in our lives. And if he sees me as part of that, well, I'm honored." Her words were diplomatic, but the tender glance she cast towards Sam told a different story. It wasn't just the look of a co-star or a friend. It was layered with gratitude, affection, and perhaps something unspoken that had been carefully guarded for years. Sam smiled in return, a small, almost shy expression that contrasted sharply with the boldness of his earlier confession. The crowd responded with thunderous applause, but the moment didn't end there. Within hours, social media platforms were flooded with clips, screenshots, and theories. Fans dissected every detail, from Caitriona's blush to Sam's lingering gaze. "Speechless" trended worldwide as people debated whether the confession was a genuine slip of the heart or a clever bit of theater. Some fans insisted it was undeniable proof of a secret romance. "You could see it in their eyes," one fan tweeted. "That wasn't acting. That was real." Others argued it was simply the culmination of years of playful teasing and deep friendship. Regardless of interpretation, the confession had reignited global fascination with their bond. Industry insiders weighed in as well. Producers and cast members who had worked closely with the duo spoke about their remarkable connection. "Sam and Caitriona are unlike any co-stars I've ever seen," one insider commented. "They bring out the best in each other, both on and off set. Whatever their relationship is, it's built on trust, respect, and a kind of unspoken understanding." For Caitriona, the moment carried particular weight. She had always been fiercely protective of her private life, maintaining boundaries between her career and her personal world. Yet here she was, caught in a vulnerable moment, standing at the intersection of truth and speculation. And while she didn't confirm or deny anything outright, her reaction had left the door open for endless interpretation. Sam, meanwhile, appeared unbothered by the storm he had unleashed. In the days following the interview, he spoke briefly about the moment in a separate press appearance. "I think people see what they want to see," he said with a smile. "But what's most important is that Kate and I have an incredible bond. She's my rock, my friend, and someone I deeply admire. That's all I meant to say." Still, fans weren't convinced. To them, his confession had been too raw, too unfiltered to be dismissed as casual praise. The internet was ablaze with romantic edits, side-by-side comparisons of past interviews, and passionate essays from fans declaring that Sam and Kate were the real love story behind Outlander. But perhaps the truth was more nuanced. Perhaps Sam's words reflected not a romantic declaration, but a heartfelt acknowledgement of the rare and profound connection he and Caitriona shared, a connection that transcended labels. It was possible to be dream girl without romance, to embody the qualities of a partner without ever crossing the line of friendship. And yet, the power of his confession lay not in the certainty of its meaning, but in the ambiguity. It was a moment that invited fans to dream, to speculate, to imagine. It blurred the boundaries between fiction and reality, between Jamie and Claire, Sam and Caitriona. As the night came to an end, one thing was undeniable. Caitriona's silence, her speechless reaction, had said more than words ever could. Whether she was overwhelmed by surprise, touched by his honesty, or simply caught in the whirlwind of the moment, the impact was unforgettable. Sam's explosive confession had left its mark, not just on Caitriona, not just on the fans, but on the story of their partnership itself. And as the lights dimmed and the audience dispersed, people carried with them the lingering question that would fuel conversations for weeks, months, perhaps even years. Was Sam Heughan's dream girl truly sitting beside him that night?